Welcome back to 17 News at Noon podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Noon.
Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us for 17 News at Noon. I'm Nicole Gitsky. We begin with a COVID-19 variant spreading across the Golden Empire. Kern Public Health announced 6 cases of the B117 Coronavirus variant have been detected in Kern County. Now, according to the State Department, the variant is associated with an approximately 50% increased transmission and are likely associated with increased disease severity and risk of death. However, it appears to have minimal impact on the effectiveness of treatments with antibodies. So far, only cases of the UK variant have been reported. As of yesterday, there are 980 cases of the B117 variant across the state. And coronavirus cases in Kern County continue to decline to the lowest levels in 11 months. 96 new cases were announced today, although our average is much lower. About 45 people are testing positive daily. We haven't seen a daily case average this low since March 21st. We also learned of 5 more deaths. That brings our total just shy of 1,300. January is still the deadliest month in Kern County, with 352 lives lost following the surge in cases after Christmas and New Year's. That's more than 1/4 of our total deaths. All 5 deaths reported today are from March, which means public health has caught up from that deadly winter surge. Meantime, there are 60 people in the hospital and 14 are in the ICU. Meantime, the U.S. reaches a milestone in its COVID-19 vaccination efforts. According to data from the CDC, nearly 25% of adults in the country have been fully vaccinated. Data also shows that 40% of adults and 75% of seniors have received at least 1 dose. All American adults should be eligible for the COVID-19 vaccine by April 19th. And remember, anyone age 16 and older can now get a vaccine right here in Kern County. One of the easiest ways to sign up to get the vaccine is to go to the state's website, myturn.ca.gov. You can also call the number on your screen. That's 833-422-4255. All right, switching gears, let's send things over to Kevin Charette with a look outdoors.
Well, Nicole, a little cooler today. Yesterday we were in the 80s. Today we're going to be in the 70s. We do have clear skies as we take you outside right now and looking at a great afternoon. Show you the current temperature, and we're at 68. A northwest wind at 12, so a light breeze out there. As we take a look at the hour by hour, we're looking at some mid-70s and then clearing skies throughout the evening. As we take a look at the Tehachapi area, it is a little bit breezy up that way. A current temperature right now of 61 with a sustained wind out of the northwest at 22. And you take a look at our wind profile here. You can see that light breeze that's picked up over into the valley, spreading into the Kern River Valley, again over the 58 into the Mojave area. And the Grapevine looking pretty good at this hour. We do have a wind advisory for the mountain and desert regions until 5 a.m. tomorrow morning. And hour by hour here as we go throughout the evening, you can see temperatures expected into the 60s. And then by 10 o'clock, we're in the upper 40s. I'll have more weather coming up in a few minutes.
All right, thanks so much for that, Kevin. Now, in your 17 Crime Watch, the FBI announced yesterday a reward of up to $10,000 for information in a murder case out of Arvin nearly 10 years ago. 45-year-old Maico Encarnacion Lopez is suspected of killing a woman back on September 11th, 2011 in the 100 block of Monroe Avenue. Arvin police say they discovered the woman's body a day later while doing a welfare check. Detectives say the woman and Encarnacion Lopez were in a relationship and had 2 children together. The FBI believes he fled Kern County after the woman's killing. He is considered armed and dangerous. He's believed to have ties to California and Mexico. If you have any information on his whereabouts, contact the FBI. We have that link on our website, kget.com. Well, fire crews are investigating an early morning fire that chars an apartment building. Now, it happened on L Street around 6 this morning. Bakersfield Fire says the fire happened in a single-story apartment complex. Luckily, no one was inside and no one was injured. Arson crews were called to the scene to investigate the cause. And this also serves as a reminder to make sure to check your smoke detectors.
We do encourage smoke detectors, working smoke detectors with batteries. If the Bakersfield Fire Department does come out and assist if we need assistance to help others install or replace batteries.
And Bakersfield Fire needs your help in finding a man wanted in connection to a restaurant fire. It happened on March 29th at the Olive Garden on New Stein Road. BFD says the suspect set fire to a dumpster, causing major fire damage to the outside of the Italian chain. The man is described in his early to mid 30s with short black hair. He was last seen wearing black pants, a shirt and jacket with a blue Nike backpack. If you have information, call 326-3691. And police are investigating after a body was found in the ocean near Oceano Dunes. According to the San Luis Obispo County Sheriff's Office, a state ranger located the body early yesterday morning. The sheriff's office could not say whether the death appeared to be suspicious or not. The coroner's office will release the person's identity at a later date. If you have any information, call police at 805-781-4513. And an effort is underway to find a missing 16-year-old who police say is at risk. Here's a look at Maico Encarnacion. He was last seen at 5307 Vista Del Mar Avenue yesterday around 5:45 p.m. He's described as being 5'11", 140 pounds with brown hair and brown eyes. He was last seen wearing a gray Yankees t-shirt, black pants, and gray Nike shoes. According to BPD, he has no prior history of running away and has developmental challenges. Anyone with information on his whereabouts is asked to contact BPD at 327-7111. And on Tuesday, March 23, 2021, the Kern County Board of Supervisors proclaimed April as Child Abuse Prevention Month in Kern County. The Department of Human Services will use this month to highlight the importance of preventing children abuse in Kern County. 17's Ileana Kepian has more.
So April, every year we set it aside for Child Abuse Prevention Month, just to remind the community that it is still a concern all around us. And we do some special trainings to equip the community so they know what is child abuse and how do I report it.
Last year, 5 children died of abuse or neglect in Kern County. And the year before that, 2 children lost their life to abuse or neglect. Child abuse is broken down into different categories: sexual abuse, physical abuse, severe neglect, general neglect, emotional abuse, such as domestic violence cases, exploitation, and caretaker absence or incapacity. Here in Kern County, the most commonly seen abuse is general neglect.
It could be mental health issues of a parent or substance abuse issues, things like that that can cause parents to be unable to care for their children and not even, know what's going on in the home. We do see that most prevalently here in Kern County.
When the pandemic hit, the number of suspected child abuse referrals received by the Kern County Department of Human Services went down.
So, similar to other California counties, Kern did see a decline in reports of child abuse referrals beginning in March due to the state's stay-at-home order, and then they started to pick up in August. They began to increase. So we did see that, and it may be because of the virtual classrooms and things like that.
Educators are mandated reporters and are usually consistently around children and able to report suspected abuse more commonly than others. Knowing this could help us understand one of the reasons why in March of 2020, 1,035 suspected child abuse referrals were received. But by April, when children were no longer in person for school, that number dropped to 568 referrals received.
I'm sure it is in part due that the kids are less seen, they are home more. It's really hard to say what the reason is, but the kids are meeting virtually now in school, so teachers are still able to monitor kids and how they're doing. But I think traditionally our numbers show too, the kids that are the most vulnerable to abuse or neglect are under 5 years old, and a lot of that is because they aren't seen as often.
The Kern County Department of Human Services will be offering an online training to teach the community more about prevention and ways to recognize the signs of child abuse and neglect. That training will be this Friday at 11 a.m. Visit our website for more details on how to help our most vulnerable population. All right, well, efforts are underway to save the Union Pacific train station in the heart of Old Town Kern from the wrecking ball. Last night, the hub of Bakersfield and the Kern County Historical Society hosted a virtual discussion to talk about the station's history and architecture. Union Pacific says it plans to demolish this piece of history, and the hub and KCHS hopes to save it and possibly restore its purpose.
There's 2 camps of thought. You could leave the building as it is and saying, well, this is how the depot, has been since the 1940s. And, that's part of its history. Or you could take a really good example of a stucco depot that was restored back to its brick version is the El Paso, Texas depot. It was a beautiful brick depot built around the same time as the Bakersfield depot.
The groups also encourage people to contact Union Pacific and urge the railroad not to tear it down. All right, happening tomorrow. Tax dollars and how they'll be spent. Nearly $80 million is expected to be generated by Measure N in the coming fiscal year. Now, tomorrow, the Citizens Oversight Committee, in charge of overseeing how the money is spent, will review that budget. Not everyone agrees on the measure's budget, a budget that includes the hiring of 9 new police officers, 8 senior police officers, 6 detectives, and 5 sergeants. The proposed budget also includes 30 new patrol vehicles and 4 police motorcycles. City Manager Christian Clegg says the proposal will help address public safety, but community advocates are calling on city leaders to ensure the money is invested in economically challenged areas.
You must be a leader for all people, not just 1 or 2 groups.
So often the money is spent up high. The resources are spent up high, way up high, and they never really make it down low.
The Oversight Committee is meeting tomorrow at 11 a.m. in the Potato Room at Mechanics Bank Arena. And also happening tomorrow, a local food giveaway. Patriots of the Cross and Sabbath Keepers have partnered with the MLK Community Initiative to give away free food boxes to seniors, veterans, and low-income members of the community. It's tomorrow at 12:30 at the Seventh-day Adventist Church located on Wilson Avenue. Welcome back. Here at home, Houchin Community Blood Bank says that blood supply is critically low right now and they need your help. Ironically, the blood bank says as the community begins to open up and COVID restrictions are relaxed, the demand for blood is increasing, but the amount of donors is actually decreasing. They're asking you to donate this week to help them replenish supplies. You can donate whole blood, platelets, plasma, and COVID-19 convalescent plasma. If you have recovered from the virus, you can go to hcbb.com to schedule an appointment. As the weather begins to heat up, so does the concern for fire danger. In about 45 minutes, Governor Gavin Newsom will hold a press conference discussing wildfire preparedness. Now, this year is expected to be another challenging wildfire year. Last month, the governor announced $80 million in emergency funds to help with wildfire costs. And you can watch that conference on our website, kget.com.
KET Business Watch is brought to you by Grapevine MSP Technology Services, the Valley's leading IT service provider.
In your 17 Business Watch, this week's unemployment claims are back up and higher than expected. The Department of Labor reported jobless claims are now at 744,000, rising 16,000 claims from last week, despite other signs of healing in the job market. First-time claims for unemployment insurance also rose more than expected last week. Continuing claims provide some good news on the labor front, with the total claims dropping to 3.7 million. That's the lowest it has been since of March 2020. Economists believe backlogs could be one factor driving high claim numbers, while spikes in COVID cases for some states could also be keeping them elevated. Well, T-Mobile is helping to connect rural residents across the country. The mobile service has launched the T-Mobile Hometown Takeover, offering free upgrades, home broadbands to millions of residents, and creating thousands of new jobs. In the plan, it will provide broadband to over 10 million households and build hundreds of new stores in rural communities. You can enter by heading to tmobilehometowntakeover.com. And our parent company Nexstar has announced a collaboration with T-Mobile to deliver free wireless hotspots and free high-speed data to local students. It's called Project 10 Million. Eligible families are those who don't have any internet connection and are enrolled in the National School Lunch Program. If selected, your family will receive 100 gigabytes of mobile data per year and a free mobile hotspot, plus the opportunity to purchase devices at a low cost. For more information or how to apply, just head to our website, kget.com. If you have a sweet tooth, this upcoming fundraiser may be for you. 17's Raquel Vega has more.
I'm 17's Raquel Vega, and the United Way of Kern County is getting ready for their extra sweet fundraiser. Joining me now is Sydney Cullen to share more about how you can get your hands on some sweet treats. Hi, Sydney.
Hi, Raquel. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you. So tell us more about A Chocolate Affair.
Yeah, so a chocolate affair, this is going to be our 7th annual one. Of course, it's going to look a little different this year in order to keep everything socially distanced and keep everybody as safe as possible. So it's going to be a drive-through curbside pickup style dinner at Luigi's. It'll be a wonderful tri-tip dinner, but we are still keeping the chocolate tradition alive by working with a local bakery, Todorovi Boutique Bakery, who will be providing the chocolate desserts as well. And the entire event will be followed by a live virtual auction.
Nice. Well, it definitely sounds like there's still going to be a lot of tasty things that people can enjoy, even though it's not in person. So that's always And so how is the money raised going to benefit childhood education and learning locally?
Yeah, absolutely. So all of the proceeds that come from a chocolate affair will go straight to our education department to help support the families and the children in Kern County with our early childhood literacy programs, like our Book of the Month Club, sponsoring our Raising a Reader classrooms, Born Learning Trails, and plenty of other of our education initiatives.
Well, that's great. It sounds like it's kind of a twofold here. You get a really delicious dinner, and then you also get to give back to the community. So what is the registration date? When can people sign up for tickets?
Yeah, absolutely. So registration is currently live through chocolateaffair.social. You can go, and that's how you can purchase your tickets to the event and to the auction. And that date will close off just a couple days before the event. So the event will happen on April 22nd, and so registration will close on April 20th.
Okay, perfect. Well, again, don't forget to sign up by those dates, and we'll post all this information at kgt.com so you can register for the event. Thanks for joining us this morning, Sydney.
Thank you so much for having me, Raquel.
Finally at noon, check this out. A 95-year-old Utah man may have set a record as the oldest person to helicopter ski. Junior Banus skied 4 runs Monday in the mountains near Snowbird, Utah. Family and friends joined Junior, who used to work at Snowbird Resort, as its first mountain school director and director of skiing. The family was informed by Guinness World Record that the previous helicopter skiing age record holder was 94 and 306 days older. Junior was 95 years and 224 days on Monday. How cool is that? All right, that's it for us here at 17 News at noon.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at noon.
The 17 News at Noon podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.